What would it be like to reach tens of thousands of people with your message? What would that be like? So I just wrote the introduction to the Korean language edition of my book Launch. That makes 18 editions, 18 foreign language editions. Here's a few of them. Not sure what languages these even are. My publisher just sends them to me after they come out. So now we've got the Korean language edition coming out. I just did some research on the Korean market. I wrote an introduction. It'll be coming out sometime in the next few months. It's just crazy because I've now sold hundreds of thousands of copies of this book. It was a New York Times, a #1 New York Times bestseller. I've got over 1,000 reviews on Amazon, 4.7 stars, just saying, over 1,000 reviews on Amazon. And it's crazy because when I can remember back when I was writing this book, and it took me almost 2 years to write the book. And I would get up every morning at 5 a.m. My rule was that my fingers had to be on the keyboard within 10 minutes of my feet hitting the floor. And from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., I would write every day. And ended up with this book. And then how does it get to be in 18 languages? How does it sell hundreds of thousands of copies? How does it get so many reviews? Well, there's 2 answers to it. One is the way you get a book to really have legs and keep on selling, and this is a big secret, is to write a great book. That's the true secret, because books sell through word of mouth. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in just a second. But the other thing is I followed my formula. This is the formula that I've been developing and I've been teaching you for 20 years on how to launch. And it works just as well for books. And at the end of the day, doing a great launch comes down to building an audience over time. And everyone starts slowly with the audience building, but you build an audience slowly over time. You learn how to serve them, and then you learn how to build marketing that is a true event, that your audience looks forward to getting your marketing, and marketing that you can deliver value over time that naturally leads into the sale. That's what this launch formula is all about. It's in the book. I basically followed my book. I followed my own strategies to launch my own book. And I know it's getting a little meta, but it actually works. And so this is actually the updated edition. This is the updated version of this book. And in it, I actually quoted an Amazon review. So yes, I actually read my Amazon reviews. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that, but I do it. And so one day when I was reading a review for the original, the old edition of this book, I came across one, and it was from Tiffany Alicia, who I have gotten to know since then. But at that point, it was just a review I saw on Amazon. And the title of the review was, "It Launched Me into an 8-Figure Per Year Business." And that got my attention. So I read the review, and this is what the review said. And I got Tiffany's permission to read this or to put this in the book. So I actually I put the review from the original edition into the new book, and it said, 5 years ago, I had an idea for a new business. An online school that taught women how to take their finances and lives to the next level, the Live Richer Academy. I had no idea how to introduce my new business to my audience. Then a friend suggested I read Launch. So that goes back to that. The way books sell is by people telling other people about the book. So this was the number of years after that first edition, and a friend told Tiffany about this book, so she got the book. So I'll continue with her review. Not only did I read Launch, but I followed it to a T. I did every single step. The results were amazing. Within the first 30 minutes of launching my school, I'd made $30,000. That was around what I used to make a year when I was a preschool teacher. The week-long launch grossed me around $70,000. That was more money than I'd ever imagined. With the third launch, I dusted the book off again and did all of the steps. This time I grossed around $250,000 during launch week. The last launch I did about a year ago made $560,000 in the launch week. And I can proudly say that as of this year, which was 2020 when she wrote this former preschool teacher now runs an 8-figure per year business. Launching is not easy. It's a lot of work. What I like about this book is that it lays it all out. What I like about this book is that it lays out all of the work step by step. If you're not sure how to share your new product or service with your audience, I highly suggest Launch. It helped to change the trajectory of my business and life. And there's the book, there's a photo of Tiffany that she allowed me to put in here. And the crazy thing is, for those of you who've been around, know my story, you know I started as a stay-at-home dad. It was nearly 30 years ago. My dream at that time was to possibly make $10,000 in a year to help support my family. And my ultimate dream, because I sat there and wrote down all my goals, my ultimate dream was $100,000 per year. Never underestimate what you can accomplish if you just show up and consistently do the work. In those early days, I didn't have anything for sale. I'd never sold anything in my life. I had no marketing chops, no experience. This is the 90s, the mid-90s. There was no one to even learn from back then. So I was just hacking it all together, but I had this belief. I knew that there was going to be some way to make money online if I could just gather an audience. Because way back in the mid-90s, the biggest question was, can you actually make money online? But I intuitively knew if I could build an audience, then I could somehow create a business. And in those early days, that first newsletter went out to 17 people. That's what my email list was, 17 people. And I would track every single new subscriber. I had a spreadsheet, and every day, if I got a new subscriber, I would put that in, I would track that. And eventually I got to the point where I was getting 1 subscriber a day, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4 subscribers a day. And then when I got up to 20, 25, 30 subscribers a day, it's like, wow, that's almost 1,000 subscribers a month. And it's still, even then, it took me time to figure out how to sell. It was so hard back then. There was no one teaching. There just was no knowledge. There was almost no one making money, but I had this intuitive sense. And that's where this launch formula all started. Back in those early days. And I started to piece it all together. But I'm only telling you this because that shows you just how humble the beginnings can be. And then you turn around, and a few decades later, you have your book out in 18 editions. You have thousands and thousands of successful clients. You have them out there changing the world. And it's just because you keep on getting up and figuring out how to build your audience, how to sharpen your messaging, how to deliver more value, and then how to launch. So I'm Jeff Walker. Wherever you're watching this, scroll down, let me know what you're thinking, and let's go get them this week.